Hello everyone, welcome back to Chemistry Guide. In this video, I will discuss about the separation of the components of a mixture. So before learning about the different techniques for the separation of a mixture, we will see the basic definitions that are required in order to understand those separation techniques. So now here in this slide we will understand what is meant by volatile substances and what are meant by non-volatile substances. So if we see volatile substances are those substances which have tendency to vaporize readily at room temperature or below. That is, if the substances are having the tendency to vaporize at room temperature only, that is, we have seen that by supplying the heat we are able to vaporize the substances. But what happens in case of volatile substances is they will volatile readily by keeping at the room temperature. So those substances which have the tendency to vaporize readily at room temperature are known as the volatile substances. Even below that room temperature also they are able to vaporize readily. So they are known as volatile substances, and we have to take care while handling with the volatile substances because they can be converted into vapor even at a room temperature. So while handling with them we have to take care. Example of those volatile substances is alcohol. And non-volatile substances are those substances which do not have a tendency to vaporize readily. That is, they doesn't have the tendency to vaporize readily at a room temperature. So that means in order to vaporize non-volatile substances, some heat has to be supplied. So they're not, even by keeping at room temperature, they're not harmful. But what happens in case of volatile is at room temperature only they are readily vaporized, and it may cause a harm to us. Here we can observe by seeing the diagram. So here first if we take it, first one in the first class we are having a mixture of oil and water. Here we are able to observe the layers of oil and water separately. But in the second case we are having the ethanol and water. Here you can see in case of ethanol and water, what is happening is here by mixing ethanol and water we are able to see a single layer. It is visible as a single compound only. Now we have seen the different types of mixtures. From our previous classes, we have a knowledge about the homogeneous and heterogeneous mixtures, and we have learned that what happen in a case of homogeneous mixtures, we will have a uniform composition throughout the mixture, and in case of heterogeneous mixtures, we have a different composition throughout the mixture. And and what happens in case of heterogeneous is they can be easily separated into their respective constituents. That is, if a heterogeneous mixture is composed of two particles, it can be easily separated into their components. And what in sometimes special techniques have to be used for the separation of the components of a mixture. And in this video we will learn about those separate techniques that we will use in order to separate the components of a mixture. First one is how can we obtain colored component or dye from blue or black ink. So we will see how we will get that. If you see ink is a mixture of dye in water. That is, the ink which we observe in our way, in our regular day lives is a mixture of dye and water. It is not a single component. So in ink we are having two different components, that is dye and water. Here if we see that one component is volatile and the other is non-volatile. So when we are having the different components in the mixture that are present in the mixture as volatile and non-volatile, by heating volatile compounds can be get vaporized. So we can get a single component. So we can get a single component from that mixture. Now we will see what is meant by centrifugation. The principle that is associated with this centrifugation technique that is used for the separation is the principle of centrifugation is that the denser particles are forced to the bottom and the lighter particles stay at the bottom when spun rapidly. That is when we are having the mixture, and if we spun the mixture, then what happens is the denser particles will be settled at the bottom and the lighter particles will stay at the top when it is spun. That this is the main principle of the centrifugation, and we will use this principle of centrifugation in order to separate the components of a mixture. Now we have learned what is meant by centrifugation. That is, in centrifugation, what happens is when we spun the mixture which we are having, denser particles will be forced to the bottom and the lighter particles will stay at the top. So whatever is needed by us, we can take easily. Now we will see the applications of the centrifugation. Centrifugation is used in diagnostic laboratories for blood and urine tests, and it is used in dairies and home to separate butter from cream. This is the main important application, and we can observe this application of centrifugation in our day-to-day lives. So if we take that, if we churn the buttermilk, what happens is the cream being lighter flows, that is the butter which we are having being lighter floats on the buttermilk, and we can easily get the butter from that. And centrifugation is also used in washing machines to squeeze out water from wet clothes. Now we will see the one important application of centrifugation, that is separation of cream from milk. In milk we are having cream and we cannot separate that cream from milk directly. So in order to separate that cream from milk, we need some separate technique which from which we can separate it easily. So the technique which we will use for this purpose is known as centrifugation. What happens is here the milk will be put into that centrifuge apparatus, and it will be spun with a very high speed. As a result of the spinning, the cream which is present in the milk being lighter than the milk will floats on the milk, and the denser particles will settle at the bottom. So as cream is lighter, it will come out onto the top, and we can get that cream easily as it is available on the top. But before applying this technique, we are having a mixture of cream and milk, homogeneous mixture, and we are not able to separate. But by applying this process of centrifugation, what is happening is the cream which we want is lighter and it is getting floated on the milk. So as it is floating on the milk and it is evil, as it is separated from the milk, we are able to get it easily, and in this way we will separate the cream from milk. Now we will see how we will separate the mixture of two immiscible liquids. As in the starting of this video, we have learned that immiscible liquids are those liquids which have different layers and they do not mix together. So this is what exactly we will use for the separation of these two immiscible liquids. So the principle behind the separation of these immiscible liquids is, depending on the densities, the particles that are present in the immiscible liquids will themselves get separated into the layers, and as they are separated into the different layers of their constituent particles, we can get them easily. So applications of these are to separate mixture of oil and water. In this slide we will see the separation of a mixture of salt and ammonium chloride. That is, as we say, salt is NaCl and ammonium chloride is NH4Cl. So we have to see, we will learn the technique for the separation of this NaCl and ammonium chloride. Whereas we have learned while learning that sublimation, melting, evaporation, fusion, those definitions we are learning, we have seen that some substances will get sublimed. That is, they will change directly from solid to vapor state without getting into solid state. If we remember that, we have given the example of ammonium chloride for the process of sublimation. That is, ammonium chloride will get separated into the vapor directly from solid state without getting changed into liquid state. So this principle we will apply in this case in order to separate the salt from ammonium chloride. So as it gets sublimed easily, here salt, we can say that ammonium chloride is sublimable, but salt is not sublimable. So here what we will use is sublimation process is we will use. So if we use sublimation process, as salt is not sublime, that means as salt does not show the property of sublimation, we can get separate the, and ammonium chloride shows this property of sublimation. That is, that both of them are having the different properties. One will show the sublimation, one will not show the sublimation. So by applying the process of sublimation, we can separate the salt and ammonium chloride. We have seen that immiscible liquids we can separate easily, because in immiscible liquids we will have different layers and we can separate them easily. But what happens in case of immiscible liquids? In case of miscible liquids, we won't have any separate layers. We will have a uniform composition throughout the whole mixture. So it will be difficult for us to separate a miscible liquid. Now we will see the techniques that we will use for the separation of the miscible liquids. One technique that we will use for the separation of miscible liquids is distillation. So what happens in the distillation process is, while we are having a miscible liquid means we are having two liquids. When we are having two liquids, there will be a difference in their boiling points. So as they are having difference in their boiling points, when we apply the distillation process, that liquids will be separated with difference in their boiling points. So we will apply the distillation process to those miscible liquids which are having sufficient difference in their boiling points. And if we see the definition here, we can see distillation is a process that is used for the separation of a components of a mixture containing two miscible liquids that boil without decomposition and have sufficient difference in their boiling points. So in order to apply the distillation method for the separation of miscible liquids, we should have the sufficient difference in the boiling points of the two liquids which are present in the mixture. Here we can see the setup that is used for the process of distillation. We have learned about the distillation, and now in this present slide we will learn about the fractional distillation. So we have seen that for applying the distillation process, the difference in the boiling points of the liquids that are present should be a sufficient, that is, there should be a significant difference in the boiling points, and we will apply fractional distillation. It is a part of distillation, but fractional distillation, when the difference in the liquids which are present in the mixture is less than 25 K. That is, if the difference of boiling point of one liquid is 298, and if the boiling point of the another liquid is 300 or 305. Here we can see the difference is less than 25 K. The difference in boiling point of the two liquids that are present is less than 25 K. So in these cases we will apply fractional distillation instead of distillation. And the main example of fractional distillation is the separation of different gases from air. So here we can see the separation of different gases from air. As we all know that air is a mixture of different gases, and in order to separate those gases that are present in the air, what we will do is, first we will compress the gas by increasing pressure and temperature. Then we will get the liquid air, and that liquid air will be allowed to warm up. Then as the different constituents are different gases that are present in the air are having different boiling points, we can separate them easily by applying the fractional distillation. Now we will learn about what is meant by crystallization. The process of crystallization is mainly used for the separation of the pure from impure. As we can see that most of the substances are impure, that is, some impurity will be present, and in order to get that substance as pure, we will use that process of crystallization. What we will do in the process of crystallization is, first of all, we will take the impure sample that we are having, and we will heat that impure sample, and as the impurities are having their more boiling points, on heating those impurities will be evaporated, and so now we will have the pure substance will be present, and that is will be in the form of liquid or whatever it may be. So as we heat, that impurities will be evaporated and we will get the pure. On cooling this pure one, we will get the crystals of the pure compound. That is, here we are eliminating the impure and we are getting the pure substance. So we will use crystallization in order to get the pure solid in the form of crystals from a solution. So this is all about the separation of the components of a mixture and different techniques that we use for the separation of components of a mixture. I hope you all understood this video. If you are having any doubt, please feel free to type in the comment box. Thank you for watching this video.